with us now to a special interview. Bomet Governor Dr. Hilary Barchok is quiet and very soft-spoken man. This is a demeanor that perhaps suited well his previous line of work. You see, Barchok is a former lecturer. However, he's learning very fast that politics is a different ballgame that might require your clothes to come out once in a while. The good Mwalimu says he has adjusted and is ready to get into the murky waters of 2022 politics and defending his seat. Florence Ndongo had a sit-down with the Bomet governor, and this is how it went down.
Hello and welcome to this segment. My name is Florence Ndongo. Thank you so much for watching us, whatever it is that you're watching us today. Well, my team and I have been in Bomet County for a couple of days, and we have visited different facilities from the Longisa County Referral Hospital to the Isolation Center in Kaiwa. We have seen the amazing people of Bomet County. The sceneries are beautiful, and Bomet at large is a very beautiful, very productive county. But our endeavors would not be enough without talking to the man himself, the governor of the great Bomet County, Dr. Hilary Barchok. We'll be hearing from the horse's mouth. We have a lot to ask him, and hopefully within the time frame that you have, he's going to answer all our questions. Bona Governor, thank you so much for having us today.
Yeah, thank you so much, and I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to Bomet. Karibu sana.
Asante sana, tunashukuru.
Yes.
I hear they call you Mwalimu. Why is that?
Mwalimu, a teacher. My training is in the area of teaching. So that means I'm a teacher. In Kiswahili is Mwalimu. So I trained as a secondary school teacher, mathematics and chemistry. And I actually taught in high school for 10 years before moving to the university, where I lectured for 7 years and then joined politics. So that's why I'm called Mwalimu. And my name will forever remain Mwalimu. A teacher is a teacher 24/7. A lifetime you remain a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Once a teacher, always a teacher.
Yeah, teacher.
Do you miss the class?
Sometimes I do, and even though I'm in politics, I'm still supervising some students. I'm mentoring some students. So that's why I'm saying I will remain a teacher. So I have some PhD students that I'm supervising at the moment. We're also doing joint publications. And for some of you who have been following me, I've been very active, even commenting on matters education. And the one that we now have at discourse as a country is the issue of CPC. I've been very vocal, very active, and I will continue contributing my expertise, because a lot of money was invested in me in terms of training. And I have to give it to give back to the society in terms of the knowledge and the skills that I have in some way, not only in terms of politics. So I have to contribute to my area of specialization, especially in curriculum development. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Quite impressive, because actually the country has been transitioning, and the issue of CBC has been very pertinent in the last few years. But away from politics, away from being in the classroom, who is Barchok?
I'm new in politics, and I may not be able to describe myself as such as a politician per se. Mm-hmm. Although when we talk of politics does not mean shouting and doing all sorts of dramas in public. Politics can be a way of life. The way you influence things to happen, the way you maybe show leadership, even within our homes, the way we run our families can be politics. So I may not describe myself as a politician, but I will say Barchok is a leader. Mm-hmm. And having been given an opportunity to be the governor of Bomet, I want to demonstrate that through whatever we are doing, through the county government of Bomet, to show that whatever we promise as politicians in quotes, is possible to deliver. As much as we have scarcity of resources, but with the little resources that we have, can we make a difference in the lives of our people? And that is what is very important. Barchok is also a Christian. I served as a pastor before I came in.
You are a pastor?
Yes, assistant pastor in my local church, or not a trained pastor, but of course, tunashikilia bora unajua kusoma Biblia and stand in the pulpit and preach, and we are able to get comfort. So that's why I'm describing myself as a pastor.
All right, that is very, very, at least people get to know something about Governor Barchok that they didn't know there before. But of course, you're saying that you are a bit hesitant to join politics, but you find yourself not only after serving for some time as a deputy governor, it's been now 2 years as a governor. How has the road been for you now taking the mantle of the governor in Bomet County?
Thank you so much, Florence. As I've indicated earlier on, I was a bit reluctant to join politics. And I want to thank God for having given me an opportunity to serve under that great lady, Dr. Joyce Laboso, who was arrested. I served as a deputy governor for 2 years. And in those 2 years, I learned a lot from the late governor because she was an experienced politician. So there are so many things, although to some extent, in fact, I was looking at her temperament, and my temperament, they almost overlap, almost 90% in terms of temperament. So I learned a lot from her. It was not very easy adjusting from classroom to politics. It took me some time to adjust. But now I want to say that I'm at home. But that does not mean I've not been facing challenges. There are so many things that I've learned, especially in dealing with people. When I joined politics, I used to trust everybody 100%. So when we talk and you tell me something, I will believe it is the truth. But I've realized you have to double check, because we are in politics. There are times where I found myself in a very embarrassing situations because I trusted some people.
Like?
I don't want to to mention those instances, but I've said, I want to say that there are times that I've learned the hard way. When it comes to politics, it's a different story. And that is why I found myself in a very awkward position where people come to you, they talk to you, they tell you things, but they mean the opposite of that. So I've learned, and I'm still in class because I'm still serving, and I'm preparing still to come back after 2022 for more lessons. Yes. There are so many things that we have done as county government of Bomet, but when you go to the public, they may not be able to enumerate what you have done. When you ask wananchi, tumefanya kazi, and then tell them, sumumeona, sometimes it is very, very difficult for them to tell you what you have actually done for them. Not because they have not seen, but probably because we have not reached out to them and actually remind them and even point out to those projects and sing about those projects. Those are some of the things that that is missing. And probably one thing that is contributing to that is my personality. The way I do my things in the life is quietly. You not know that I have done this. I will find me doing something or assisting somebody, but I don't say. I don't shout about it. And that's why I'm saying I'm disadvantaged when I move. I was disadvantaged when I moved to politics, because I would want to do things in politics the same way I was doing when I was not in politics. And but I'm improving. I've learned lessons, and now that's why when I'm appearing before you today, at least to say that we are doing very well in Bomet. So you can see I'm doing very well. Appearing here is a testimony that at least I can now say what we have done. But I'm very happy, very happy as the governor of Bomet. I know what we have done, and we want to sing about what we have done for all to hear. Yes.
And one of these projects, I want to believe that the Lungisa County Hospital, we were there and we saw the medical oxygen production plant, yet it has been there. But I think COVID-19 has allowed us to know more about what you guys can achieve, and also including the improvements that had to be done. What has been your county's response to the pandemic so far?
There are things that we have done in our health facilities. The improvements that we have done in our health facilities to respond to COVID-19. But in the process, we are also improving on our facilities to respond to other diseases that we have. Because when you talk of COVID, COVID is just like any other disease. So if we are putting up plants like the oxygen plant that you have seen in Longisa, you know, even post-COVID, after COVID, that facility will still serve the residents of Bomet. And I'm very happy as the governor of Bomet, our facility is functioning. And it did not start yesterday. It has been working. And we produce huge volume of oxygen. In fact, around 2,000 liters every hour. That is sufficient oxygen to run our facilities, and the supplies has actually been assisting our neighbors. So, especially Kericho. For example, Siloam Hospital has been benefiting from us. I think on weekly basis, I think we give them over 40 cylinders every week. Yeah, and the only thing that we have been insisting is because we are giving them free of charge, they should not sell to the patients, especially in this COVID era. And we have saved a number of lives, not only in Longisa or in our isolation facilities within the county, but in our neighborhood, because there are so many people who have gone through a number of private hospitals that we have in our neighboring counties, and I have given you a case of Siloam in Kericho. So we have been also able to expand the capacity of some of our facilities. You visited Koyua, and you saw the structures that we have in Koyua. They are tents, but those are tents that can last from between 10 to 15 years. But the way those tents were fabricated, they were done in such a way that you can still remove the tents and construct the walls, maybe using bricks and so forth, and then you have the roofing done, maybe using iron sheets or any other roofing material. So we are having plans to expand that facility to a level 4 facility. So as much as we have used it as an isolation center and constructed those temporary structures, still we have moved forward in terms of the amount of resources that we will inject in future to convert it into level 4 or raise it to level 4 will be maybe just some little resources, because already we have the framework. Yeah, so we have been also able to employ a number of health workers, and we were able also to get support from the national government through the National Treasury. Something maybe if were it not for Corona, it would not have come. So that support has been used to expand the facilities that we have. We also have a number of equipment that we have purchased, a number of beds that we have, which will be also used in our facilities. So that is why I'm saying, as much as we want to look at this Corona in a very negative way, I think we are also learning lessons out of it. Yeah.
But Governor, let's talk about sensitization kidogo, because at the end of the day we were at Koiwa, and the facility is huge, 224 bed capacity, and but on our way to Koiwa, let me just bring that to your attention. There's a market before you get to to the isolation center.
Yes.
But my observation was that a majority of those guys were not keeping social distancing, and some of them were not even wearing, a majority of them were not even wearing a mask. And I know perhaps you've done a lot of sensitization. I personally, I felt like there's an isolation center around that should maybe serve as a reminder that residents of that area should be very careful. What are you doing to sensitize the public? Because as you're saying, we need to continue adhering to the safety measures that have been set both by the Ministry of Health and the World Health Organization.
Yes, Florence, that is a good observation. I think this is an issue that has also been raised by somebody else. Somebody once said, Mkenya ni kichwa ngumu. And I want to agree with that person. Yeah, but that does not mean we stop sensitizing and educating our people. Because this is a health issue. And because it is a health issue, it is your responsibility as Florence to take care of yourself. Because if you become sick, I will not use the word we are sick. It is you who is sick. Especially in rural areas, you know, there is this thinking that, you know, the disease is in Nairobi, it is in Kisumu, it is in Bomet town, and not in the rural areas. In fact, that is where we have problems. There are a number of deaths that we've not been able to account for. The numbers are just too many. So, and that could be an indicator that we have a problem in the community. Because when you see every day, you have so many funerals around the locality, that is a clear indication that things are not good. Yeah, and a number of them have not been confirmed whether they are positive or not. So let us take care, kama wananchi, let us take care of our lives. Yeah.
You sit at a leadership position, and you sit, I won't call it a hot seat, because in your position you're not able to run away from challenges. You have to face them and come up with solutions, not only for yourself and the people who are working around you, but for the entire Bomet County. And currently there is cash crunch, and the counties have been crying that we don't have money. And of course this is affecting how even the response to COVID-19 is happening. How have you been surviving with all the cash crunch?
Yes, I think it's good you have talk of surviving. We have survived. We are now, I think, 4 months in arrears. I have not received money from the National Treasury. We only have maybe less than 30 days to the closure of the financial year. Come July, the headlines in all the leading newspapers, counties fail to spend billions. And this is not money that has been released to us. So for you to be able to deliver on the services and whatever we have given in terms of promises that we've given to the wananchi, we must have money. To have medicine in our facility, we have to have money. To have all these activities running, we have to have money. So we have been placed in a very awkward position as governors. And always, the first blame in what happens to this country, the first blame will go to the governor. Because we are the people who are on the ground. So we carry, I think, all the blames. Even the basic things that we are supposed to be giving to wananchi, kama medicine in our health facilities. Sometimes people complain, and you know within yourself that this complaint is genuine. For example, when they say there is no medicine in some of the dispensaries, some of them are genuine, because there is no way I can supply medicine without finances. So it becomes a very big challenge to us. But we have been struggling to balance. At times you see a governor and you think that a governor is enjoying. This city is very hot. Sometimes you don't even sleep because you are trying to think of what will happen tomorrow. What will I do to have things moving? There is this perception at times that governors are corrupt, you know. Even at times they say, when we talk of more money coming to us, they say, you want more money to go and squander. Because they want to believe that counties are centers of corruption. That is not true. It's not true. In fact, if there is anything that happened to this country that I think will cherish forever, this is the devolved government. Whatever is happening in the villages, I want to tell you that it would not have been possible if we were centralized
So
in terms of our governance. Devolution, I say devolution is the best thing. But I wish we have funding. It is working, but not 100%. Because when you are not given money, and we are talking of 15%. In fact, it is very interesting. The other day we were debating on PPI and talking of 35%. If you cannot get 15%, how will you get 35%? So that was a bit unrealistic. And let us be given, I mean, just give us the 15% first.
You've mentioned it, Bonagavan. What is your take on Libya? I know reggae has stopped, but as Governor Barchok, what is your take on it?
Now, I don't want to go into that direction.
You mentioned, so it's good to just hear you.
Yeah, and all along my stand has been that PPI is not a priority to me. There are so many pressing issues that are facing the Mwananchi wa Kenya. One of the issues that we should be addressing should be unemployment of our youth. There are so many youth who are unemployed. And that should be our problem as leaders. The reason why I'm saying PPI should not have been a priority and should not be a priority, what you should have been singing all along should be that agenda for the big force of it. You know, have been struggling to understand. When you tell me, and this is my own opinion, when you tell me that PPI will ensure that people will not fight after elections. I'm failing to understand that, how it will work. And want to go back to my area of expertise. And I want to say that we are giving emphasis and prominence to things that will not work for us. Because if I want to change Florence, the way you behave, as much as I write all the laws and regulations to govern your life, unless you change from within Florence, I will not be able to change you. And that is why I'm saying we are giving prominence and emphasis to things that will not work for us. There is only one area, when I saw that report about PPI, where it talked about the family and the values. If we want to change this country, we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to change from the inside, not from without. We want to change by inculcating values to our young people, not by regulating them. It's very difficult. As a human being, you can be putting this law in place, but I will find a way of maneuvering and going the opposite direction, what you intend to do. So I think what we should be doing, and I think part of which should be through education, how we need to look at our curriculum. And then bring on board the community. Can we partner in some way to inculcate positive values in our people? PPI will not bring that unity that we desire. And even look at some of the policies that we are putting, and I've mentioned the issue of education.
Yeah.
We used to have A-levels, and you'd find a student from Bomet being admitted to Mombasa High School or Vihiga High School. You know, that interaction where we have different communities coexisting in an institution was one way of building that and ensuring that we have that bonding in terms of the community. In a situation where you admit as you maybe studied a primary school, you are admitted to a day school within that, and then now that we have so many universities, a university within the county, where the people that you know are people from one community. It will reach a time where you want to imagine, when you mention some community, you would always imagine that they have homes, they are not human beings. So I think part of the policies that we've been putting in place are the ones that are defeating the cause that we want to take as a country. And that's why I'm saying we are putting emphasis and prominence to things that will not change our society. And that is why, to me, BBI is not a priority.
Now that you feel at home in your seat as a governor, after learning a lot, as you said, how are you dealing with these local politics that keep on cropping up and might, sometimes they even overshadow the good things that you are doing, especially at Longisa?
Thank you, Florence, and it's good that you have mentioned that issue. One is, if I still revisit this, some statement that I made earlier on about people not being very honest. You'll find somebody saying this when they mean the opposite. And then in politics, we also have a lot of propaganda. In politics, you will also want to portray your opponent to be not performing, so that you can at least maybe have an upper hand when it comes to campaigning in the next year. And that's the culture that politicians have. But if going back to the specific case of Longisa, where people are complaining that we don't have water, we have water. And I don't know whether you actually went to our even wards and tested the taps. The water was running in our taps. So that was actually politics. But as you said, sometimes these negative things may overshadow the positive things that we have done. And we have to watch out for those propaganda and negative publicity. Of course, we cannot have everything being positive 100%. There are things that that can be negative, even in whatever we are doing, but it should not be, we make it, pronounce it so much to an extent that we overlook good things that we have done. And the person who could be doing that, of course, may be playing politics, because even when you go to Longisa, what you should be asking ourselves, okay, assume we don't have water. But are there other things that are positive about Longisa that have saved the lives, like oxygen? Yes. Do we have medicine in that facility? Yes. Do we have doctors in that facility? Yes. Do we have other good things that are happening in Longisa? Yes. So out of 1,000 things, we only have one that is negative. Why do you want to make it a headline of some news? That's because of one thing.
Lastly, before I let you go, I want to know what is in the pipeline for your administration, or what should the people of Bomet County expect from you in terms of developments?
We have a lot that we have done, and we also have a lot that we are yet to do. For example, in education, we are preparing to roll out in the next financial year, starting July, school feeding program, where we'll be giving milk and food to children in our ECD schools. We are also planning to roll out kind of an initiative where we'll be supporting our farmers, especially dairy farmers. And this will be linked to the school feeding program. We have a plan that is currently under construction. It's almost complete in Jebunya. We are installing the machines for packaging of milk. So we want to give good prices for our farmers for their milk. This milk will be packaged, and the first customer for the packaged milk will be the county government of Bomet, and this is the milk that we'll be distributing to our ECT centers. So at the same time, we have been hearing of bonuses for tea farmers. We are also exploring to see whether dairy farmers can also get bonus for their milk. By the way, we produce the best milk in the country. Yes, you need to test that na ukunywe mursik vizuri before you leave. Yeah, so we want to explore, and I think it's possible. Maybe for every liter of milk, you can say 2 shillings or 3 shillings for every liter that you supply, and it goes through cooperative and package in Jebunya. You will get some bonuses at the end of the year. And in Bomet, we rely heavily in agriculture. And we want to see if it is possible for us to have cottage industries attached, in value addition and so forth. And that is the only way we can grow ourselves into whatever we have envisaged for ourselves in Vision 2030. Otherwise, when you look around, we are now in 2022, almost. We have only around some months. 8 years to 2030, are we seeing any evidence of whatever we have promised the people of Kenya in 2030? The largest volume of tea that is produced in Kenya comes from Bomet. That should be very clear. I know you can't believe, but it is Bomet. Yeah, we produce the largest volume of tea. And we have been facing a number of challenges in the tea sector, and this is related to the poor prices of tea. In fact, currently we are trying to talk to our people because a number of them have started uprooting tea, and in place of tea, they are now going for avocado, because the returns are better than the ones for tea. But we have also been struggling. There are a number of reforms that have been put in place. If you still remember the Munya whatever bill that went to the parliament, was passed, and the president ascended it to on the 11th of January 2021. Of course, within that bill, there are good proposals. But within the same act, we also have issues. I remember late last year, we went to Iran to try and see whether we can have direct sales from Bomet. And we made some good progress about the same. As much as we are talking about Iran, we are also looking at Iran as a corridor of reaching out to the neighboring countries, even including Russia, because I think they have some good working relationship. The neighbors of Iran who are also heavy consumers of tea. So we did have some discussions, and we were in the final stages of farming it up. In fact, I have people who are going back to Iran on 10th of this month. Yeah, part of the team is staff from my office, the Department of Agriculture, and also some KDDA officials. Because most of the factories that we have in Bomet are actually run by KDDA, but we also have private factories that are within Bomet. So what we want at the end of the day are good prices for our farmer. And that is why I'm saying, even when we are making policies, when we are making laws, I think the farmer, whatever consideration that we are making, should give advantages to the farmer.
Wow, quite an amazing, very inspiring and insightful discussion with Bomet Governor Dr. Hilary Barchok. Well, it has been an awesome time. We've got to learn a lot about the people of Bomet County and also the top leadership of this county. Hopefully we get to come back again and tell you if what the governor has promised, especially when it comes to future plans. I know he has a lot of future plans with the youth, women, children, and the entire Bomet County. We'll be back here soon.